Across the country, cities and towns are preserving their history by saving and repurposing older buildings. In Dyersburg, for example, the Baird Brewer Building was once the Baird Delaney Hospital. This is the birthplace of Emmett Kelly Jr., America's most popular clown. Another property finding new life is Dyersburg High School.
This campus goes back into the 1800s, and so we found that in 1886 there was a male and female college on this site. And this building was built in 1939. But prior to that, there were two other facilities that were built here that were that male and female college. For a long time, I thought College Street was where this high school faced, and I realized over some research that the original high school actually faced the back of the campus, which faced East Court. And so probably College Hill in Dyersburg was the back side of this hill, not the one that says College Street, and most people sled down in the wintertime out front. It's still College Street, but the whole campus has been alive for a long time.
Only photographs remain of these original buildings, but the folks around today remember fondly their time in this building.
This facility was built in 1939 by the WPA under the FDR administration. They built this building to replace the original, and the original was torn down when the kids actually started going to school in this building. And it's been a high school at different levels from mostly grades 9 through 12 up until like the early 70s when the new Dyersburg High School on the bypass was built.
Denny Walden is the director of the Professional Development Center, which uses and oversees a large portion of the building.
This room is the library of Dyersburg High School from 1939 until it reverted to a junior high in the early 70s. Actually, when we recovered this room, we deliberately closed over a few of the windows because we did have a lot of light from the sun and had windows and blinds back in those days. But because of the video technology in here, we closed off 2 walls of windows just to help us with our video screens and those kind of things. But this was the study hall. This was the place where you'd have class meetings and those kind of things. It was kind of like a central location for most of the things that went on in high school back in the 60s.
The Professional Development Center brings to Dyersburg educational speakers and experts from all over the country to instruct and help teachers and other professional groups. It utilizes the latest technology and tools.
By bringing them here, these people get to have lunch with them. Our teachers get to meet them personally, maybe get an autograph or a signed book, ask questions specifically about the research, about what they can do in their classrooms. We try to bring high-quality professional development to Dyersburg in this room.
The center has also renovated several classrooms and offices, which provide additional services to area teachers. But as you walk these halls, you can almost hear the voices of yesterday's students.
Most people remember the lockers. Certain teachers, Miss Poore comes to mind, Miss Cooley comes to mind. Those are people that Dyersburg people who came through Dyersburg High School would recall those names. Those classrooms are still important to people who come visit this place. When they come by to see what renovations we've done, they'll ask us things like, can I see my locker? Can I see Miss Poore's class? Can I see the principal's office? Can I go walk on the stage and things like that? I remember the pep rallies, and I remember the football games and the homecomings and the mums that you buy for your girlfriend and the dates you would have and those kind of things.
For those who remember the assemblies and pep rallies in the auditorium, it too has received a facelift and serves the region as a performance venue.
We realized it was the largest venue in the county. It would seat 650 plus. But it was in pretty bad shape. So in the renovation process, the superintendent put in new carpet and painted the walls and painted the floors, and that's about as far as we went. That left the shell of an auditorium ready for the next step. And we looked for a while trying to find somebody, a philanthropist, a corporation, or somebody who might help us complete the renovation. And Billy Yates, who runs General Appliance and Furniture downtown, came and looked one day and walked through and stayed about 15 or 20 minutes, and then he left. And about 30 minutes later, he called me from his house, and he said, "Danny, what do you need in there?" And I said, "We'd like to have new curtains. We'd like to have a new lights, system. We'd like to have a new sound system. He thought for a second and he said, work up a price and tell me what it's going to cost.
On the lower level where school lunch was served, the YMCA provides the latest workout gear and a space for games and sports in the old gymnasium. The football field is now used for soccer and other outside activities. The YMCA was actually the first tenant to use the old high school. Where you made that out-of-square toolbox for Dad in shop class, the Dyer County Museum has found a home, with military displays and unique collections donated by county residents.
People bring us stuff all the time. We get pictures, we get artifacts, we get typewriters, we get light fixtures. I mean, just things that you wouldn't really think about that people have in their attics and in their storage sheds. Then they're saying, I want this to be part of the museum so people can see it. And there's a story behind all those. And the stories are what we're all about. So this museum and this location is our first step at trying to do a high quality museum so the people of Dyer County can help support us as we start to grow.
It's those personal stories and remembrances that make this repurposing so important. And for Denny Walden, each workday is a reflection of past and future.
I was a county kid, okay, and coming to Dyersburg was a big deal. Came from a small school in my community and was put on a bus to come to Dyersburg, and it was exciting. We were apprehensive, scared, and all those kind of things. But we came as sophomores, and this building housed grades 10, 11, and 12. And one of the old buildings was still there. It's kind of like a supplemental classroom section. And it was an exciting time. We had good football teams, we had a good basketball team, a lot of camaraderie, and life in the 60s was good. There's just no doubt about it. Back in those days too, we used to close school in the middle of harvest season to pick cotton. So you would go to school for 6 weeks and suddenly you'd shut down school. And as a kid, I was kind of figuring out what was going on. And I didn't realize I was going to go home to work in the fields. And we'd pick cotton for $3 a 100 pounds. And it was a good experience because kids today that may not have that opportunity to actually make their own money in the fields as they did back in those days. There is so much history in Dyer County that I did not know, and I've been here most all my life, that we want to have that open to the entire area so that we can learn more about the past. If we're not careful, we get wrapped up in the new technology and the new communications and the instantaneous messaging and emails and all those kind of things. Those are wonderful things to have. But it sure doesn't hurt to look back sometime and take a look at where we've been, what we have been, and what our roots are so that we can reflect on where we're headed.